Hello again, this is Robert Veach here. I wanted to show you something that I've been working on. It is a fairy door and front stoop. It's going to sit at the base of one of the trees that we have in our enchanted forest area that my wife has been working on. And I just made it with scrap wood. Everything's carved by hand. I'm going to show you a close-up of some of the components of it and how it's going to be mounted. And it came out really adorable. You can see it has the Amazon packages on there, a little flower pot. I'm just going to describe and show you some close-ups of it. So this little flower pot you see on the right is just made out of a piece of wood that I turned on a little homemade lathe using a drill and a diamond cutting bit, and just painted it to match some of these little medallions that are on the door. These knobs were just made out of wood and I turned them myself, and this is just pieces of plexiglass with little frame material on there. And this is a solid piece of 2 pieces of wood that I ground down to give the illusion that it's 2 separate pieces, and there's hinges drawn on there just to give that effect. The broom is just handmade from a brush and the original metal from the brush and a stick that I ground down some pieces on. And the railings are a couple components of wood that are just glued together. And then this I turned, again, the same method to make that cut in there. And these steps are just solid hunks of wood. You can see it's all put together and glued. The boxes are little thin pieces of wood that I just put together and tried to match the color to make a cardboard. And this is a label, like an Amazon label, and there's a little homemade label right there. There's fake dirt and the flowers right there. Everything is urethane with water urethane, multiple coats, and there's little distress pieces that I ground in just to give some look to it. This is a whole curved piece on the top that I made. It joins in with the side pieces on there. Now this is going to be at the base of one of our trees, and I'm going to be adding bark to it. And to mount this, you can see that there is mounts right here. This is an aluminum polyethylene sandwich piece, and I'm using metal stakes. There's 2 on each side to hold it in place. Let me show you the back now. So first I'll show you the side profile. This curve right here approximates what the tree is. Now I'm going to be cutting this and trying to match it to the tree to put this whole structure as close as I can to the tree. And the back of it, you can see, is just white aluminum, and the tree is going to be right here, obviously. And I'm trying not to remove any bark if possible, because you could damage the tree. So this will be sitting in front of the bark. You can see it's just pieces of random wood that I strengthened and used. And then we're going to trim this aluminum till it matches the profile of the tree. And then I'll be gluing on some bark, which we have, that will match the tree and give the illusion that this is actually growing out of the tree. So here I have the aluminum that I trimmed to match the profile of the tree. I have the front section of bark on there, glued on with a hot glue gun, and then it's painted brown. So I basically have it cut into the tree, and I added some sand packed down and stakes, and then we're going to put some decorative stone on there to make it look nice. But now I can go ahead and add the bark. The bark will go that way, and then it'll start to go vertical to kind of match the bark of the tree. So I'm pretty close to the tree right now, and that's exactly where I want it to be for the effect. So before I show the finished product, I want to show you some of the tools and some of the paints and urethanes I've used. I recommend you get this brand, Sure Bonder, of a hot glue gun, and they make a different model now, different color, but works really well. And the glue sticks that I use are brown color, and I'll have a link for that also. All these I have links for to Amazon. You can get those, and that way it hides the wood. It blends in quite well with that wood that's on the outside, the bark. And the other thing is paintbrushes. I'll have a link for that. So it's good to have good paintbrushes to paint with. There are some jumbo tip from Artistro I used these colors on some of the parts. There's acrylic paint right there. I'll have a link to that also. And the urethane, the multiple coats I put on there is Varathane, and it's the brand is Rust-Oleum, and I'll have the link to that also. That's an outdoor semi-gloss to protect it from the UV. And then the piece that's on the bottom of the unit that has the holes for mounting, that's a unique material. That's aluminum sandwiched between a polyethylene, and I'll have the link for that also. And that's totally water resistant, and that can be put under the unit as I'm going to demonstrate, and it'll allow water to flow off the wood so it won't rot the bottom of the ferry house. So here's the finished product. It's all finished, and I added some color to it. Those little earrings on there, I picked up some of the colors on the door and on the front railing right there. There's gold there, little mauve color. This matches the broomstick handle and the colors on there. Just I wanted to pick up some color because there was so much wood on the sides and the front of it, and I think it came out looking really nice. I'm going to show you the sides. Let me just try and zoom in here a little bit so you get a better idea what it looks like. There's the front stoop with the colors added, and there's the door with the real plexiglass panels on there. And again, all this is really easy to make. Now I'm going to show you the sides. And you can see how realistic that looks. That's just bark off the tree and held on with that brown hot glue, using that hot glue gun. Then I touched it up with some paint, and I put about 6-7 coats of that urethane on there.